Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we are playing some Rakdos Blitz, or Rakdos Glaze Fiend. This is a deck by Love Crayons, who's another content creator for Pauper. You should make sure to check them out. But they made this list that's basically supposed to be like a Kiln Fiend Blitz deck, but with a little bit more longevity, so that if you don't get like a turn 2 or turn 3 win, you don't immediately just lose the game. And I'm a huge fan of Kiln Fiend, or at least I used to be. I played it a good amount on the channel, and then it got a little stale because you either win or lose really quickly, and that became not as much quite what I wanted to do. However, I still really like the general concept, and I really like Glaze Fiend, which grows every single time you play an artifact. And so this is a deck that is trying to kind of mesh those together. Now, actual Kiln Fiend is not in this list, but we are doing... Let me update the title real quick. So actual Kiln Fiend is not here. However, we have similar cards with Red Mage's Rapier, which is an artifact that has a job select, so it makes a 1/1 equipped to it, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +2/+0, so not quite as much as Kiln Fiend. However, it triggers off of every non-creature spell, and it's an artifact itself, and it can be re-equipped to other creatures. Since we're doing Glaze Fiend with this as well, we're trying to lean into the artifact theme, so these both can grow off of casting artifacts. And then Immolating Soul Eater is another artifact creature that is classic in Kiln Fiend strategies because you can pay life or red mana to pump it up. So if you're able to get this down on turn 2, say, maybe turn 1 if you're lucky, then you Temur Battle Rage it to give it double strike. You pay 18 life to give it +9/+0, and you can hit for 20 damage right away, which can be just game winning right there. So we're doing that too. So these are our main win cons. However, we're doing this Rakdos artifact strategy, so obviously we're playing Refurbished Familiar, and something that wasn't in his initial lists, but ended up being in one of the later ones, was Mere Enforcer, which I think seems to make sense. We have enough artifacts that it's just a creature that doesn't die as easily, so we don't, most of our creatures here die to Lava Dart, which is pretty brutal. Mere Enforcer is something that has a little bit more durability, and also can still hold a Red Mage's Rapier, or is the 4-power creature for a Temur Battle Rage. So, yeah, it seems like it might work pretty well in here. So those are kind of our main threats. And then we're playing, of course, Galvanic Blast and a couple Lightning Bolts as some burn. Also instant speedways to trigger your Red Mage's Rapier, and maybe clear blockers if you're gaining trample over them, something like that. Couple Blood Fountains. The original list had 4 of these, but 1, I think that's a little too many. I get that the idea is to trigger Glaze Fiend twice. It triggers Red Mage's Rapier, and it can buy back your creatures, but it was playing 3 Blood Fountains and 4 Blood Fountains and 3 Mere Enforcers, and I kind of like the inverse. I like having the full play set of Enforcers, and so we're just doing 3 Blood Fountains. We'll see if that may not actually be right. I was really enjoying his videos, so I actually was the one who suggested Toxin Analysis as a card in the deck. It's an instant speedway to make an artifact, so it can trigger your Glaze Fiend as a combat trick, can trigger your Red Mage's Rapier. It gives Death Touch, so if you just have like a hero token sitting around, or a Glaze Fiend that you pump up once, this can actually allow it to trade for a Tolarian Terror or something like that, which can be kind of good. It also gives Lifelink, so if you're against a burn matchup, this is a way to survive a little bit. And also it works really well with Soul Eater if you give it double strike, because you can pay a bunch of life into it to pump it up. You gain life off of the hit, and then before you've dealt your regular combat damage, you can pay more life into it if you want. So we're going to see how these work out, but I'm pretty optimistic about them. Then we have 4 Synthesizers. We need to be a little careful with these because we are playing Enforcers and Refurbs, that we need to make sure we have a high enough affinity count before we run them out, but it's nice card advantage. It's a nice way to trigger all of these guys, and then it can also just make a creature in the late game as well. We're playing some Lotus Petals. This is kind of a blitz deck, like I said, so we're trying to go fast. Lotus Petal just makes it so it's possible to play any of our 2-drop creatures on turn 1, but Lotus Petal is not as useless in this deck if we top deck it later as it is in Kiln Fiend, because it can still trigger our Glaze Fiend, it can still trigger our Red Mage's Rapier, and it adds to our affinity count. So ideally, it will be useful even if it's not necessarily the, even if we don't draw it immediately on turn 1. Then in our mana base, we have, of course, artifact lands. We have the full play set of the 3 artifact lands we can play in these colors, except for Darksteel Citadel. Playing 4 Razor Trap Gorge. We should be dealing enough damage quickly enough that this should be an untapped dual land a good amount of the time. And then a couple mountains because we want to make sure we can hit synth and things like that. Then in our sideboard, we have 5 Pyroblast effects. We have 3 Crow Clan Shamans. These were added as a way to combo with the Toxin Analysis. Also 3 on the Festivities. I think this might be a little redundant because these both are very good for the same types of opponents, but and the Festivities can be good against fairies where Krark wouldn't be. I couldn't really think of anything better to put in this slot, so I just left it as is. And then we have 4 Nile Spell Bombs, artifacts that also obviously hinders opponents' graveyards. So we're going to take this for a league and see how we do. You can now pick up my comprehensive guide to Esper Cryo Affinity, including 38 sideboard matchups, and I just put out a big update for my Black Sack guide, including a slightly different deck list. I began offering coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your Pauper game to the next level, and I'm accepting deck donations, so if you desperately want me to play a deck that I usually wouldn't play, something like Elves, or maybe you want me to suffer through High Tide, then you can make me do that for a small fee. I've started posting a league video every single day, not to mention streaming at least a couple times a week on Twitch, but I'm not going to be able to keep that up forever unless I can get a little bit more help from the community. Any of the ways I've just mentioned are great ways to help me out, or you can even subscribe and support me on a monthly basis. All right, here we are, round 1. All right, this hand has no lands, so that's obviously not going to cut it. Here we have 1 land and a Lotus Petal, which is just inferior to a land here. Plus, we're on a mulligan. So, and this is a tap land, so I can't even turn 1 refurb. So I think we got to go down. This just does not look very good. All right, finally a reasonable hand. So turn 1 Gorge, turn 2 Furnace. We can play a Rapier or a Soul Eater. I guess maybe we want to keep the Blood Fountain as a way to get affinity if we draw any Mere Enforcers. So I think we're maybe getting rid of Soul Eater and Lightning Bolt. Obviously not quite the start we want with this deck. Jagged Barrens. So it looks like we're against Rakdos Madness. Toxin Analysis could be good. Red Mage's Rapier. It's going to be good if they don't kill the creature, because next turn I could like Blood Fountain Galvanic to hit for 5 plus 4, so that's pretty decent. I play a Kitchen Imp here. If I get an untapped black source, Vault of Whispers, I could actually Blood Fountain Toxin. Ooh, another Rapier. I think I just got to play that. They missed a land drop, which is nice. I got to play that because this allows me to deal the most damage possible next turn. So if they don't kill these, next turn we can put them both to 5, plus the Galvanic we can hit for like 14, which is pretty decent. They have double Alms of the Vein, which is a lot, and it's life gain, so they are staying above. Okay, get a Vault of Whispers, please. Razor Trap actually it is untapped too, so that's actually great. So we get to play Blood Fountain, trigger both of these, Toxin to grow them and give me lifelink, so I can gain 7 here. And then we're going to be dealing 14, so I can put them to 11. So I could Galvanic Blast them down to 7, or I could just kill the Imp, but we're going to be back at 14, so do I need to kill the Imp? I kind of just want to go at them, I think. Although this will get in the way of these next turn. Yeah, I guess we'll take out the Imp for that reason. Toxin already doing work, though. I feel like we're very close to death, but the fact that we can gain 7 life here is really good. Makes me a little more comfortable. Grab the prize with a Snacker. Okay. That's a tapped blocker, so not a big deal. Mere Enforcer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So with the Blood Fountain, it'll be free. So let's cast that, trigger both of these, and we will swing for 6. Shuriken just subscribed with Prime. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. And we'll cast the Enforcer, and I can crack this clue. There's probably... I could have cracked the clue pre-combat. If we got a Lotus Petal, I could have pumped them up more. I think there's not a lot of reason to do it now, though. Keep up the good work with your content. Thank you very much. Appreciate your support. They have a Fiery Temper, so if that puts us to 9, Snacker can put us to 7. They could kill us here. We put up a pretty good fight, I think, but we'll see. Emperor's Kiss puts us to 7, so 5 virtually... 4. That procures 3, but that's not quite lethal. Okay, maybe they're holding back then. Okay, so we have a shot here, maybe. Looking forward to seeing more Esper Affinity. There will definitely be more to come. Okay, those are not very good draws. I definitely got to just pitch one of these. Glaze Fiend doesn't do much now, but I guess I just attack. They probably block both of these. Or like the Enforcer. Maybe we can survive at 5 here. They do block both. Go to 3. I'm not loving my chances, but we have a Glaze Fiend. I'm going to save the vaults to trigger this next turn. They're discarding a Swamp, so they need to find Couple burn spells. Flashback of Faithless Looting. Discard 2 mountains. That's really good. Epicure. Okay, that blocks and pings us. That's kind of annoying. Another Epicure, but that doesn't block the Glaze Fiend. So if we just get another artifact, oh, that'll work. I guess technically we should equip this here, play a vault, trigger this. Oh, oops. Oh, God. I just threw. I was like, oh, I'll equip first because then it'll get pumped. And then I played the vault after, which means that I don't have red mana. So that was interesting. Okay. I obviously should have just... Oh, that's embarrassing. In any case, I could discard this now, and I could get a Lotus Petal, which could be lethal. Yeah, that was quite the punt. Or I could just leave these back, and if they can't deal me 2 damage, then I can maybe kill them next turn. Yep, I think we just... I guess attacking with this forces a block anyway. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but that's okay. They have a Highway Robbery. Sacrifices a swamp, and they found a Chain Lightning. Well, that, yeah, that's not my favorite thing, but all my fault. Spell bombs are okay. That's about it. I don't really know what to take out, though. I kind of think the main deck is probably just fine, especially on the play. Maybe on the draw we'll bring those in. This will be the shortest stream ever because I'm gonna stop it because of that. Not really. I was just trying to get fancy, and that did not work out. But I'm gonna stop dwelling on it now. This hand is reasonable. We need more artifacts for these guys, but on turn 2 or 3 I can synth. Yeah, I guess it's a little slow. Alright, start with the bridge and pass. Let's try to not make any more mistakes. Epicure, another Battle Rage is not really what we want. Just gonna play this and pass. And they have a Grab the Prize. There's a Vault. We're gonna synth Blood Fountain. So this is 4 artifacts, 5, 6. So this is 2 Enforcers on turn 3, plus double Battle Rage for if they try to block. I mean, that's pretty good. We will take 2 Jagged Barons. We are at 13, so we can play this, swing, and I assume they'll chump. They don't. Interesting. I'm just going to use my mana, and I'm going to give these both Double Strike. Because this means if I draw Galvanic Blast, and I actually cast it, that'll be lethal, plus these are both lethal right now, which means that they have to have 2 blockers. So if they can't kill us here, they have to at least double chump. They do go for a Fiery Temper, so we're down to 10. This could put us to 7. They attack with 1, which means they probably have another Epicure. Yeah. Now I could have kept one of the T-Burn Battle Rages for when they block here. They'd still be at 8. Well, now 10 then. I guess if they only blocked one of these, it would be decent. But it felt like I might as well get in with the guys while I could. Alright, well, we're going to crack this. We get another Soul Eater. I don't think that's what we want. We're going to swing. Even if I get like a Blood Fountain, or not a Blood Fountain, a Galvanic, it doesn't do much. I guess I can kill this. Like, Soul Eater doesn't do me any good, so let's just bin this one and see if I get something for 1. No, Gorge. So now they just need a Lightning Bolt and we'll be dead. They got something. Okay. Well, an embarrassing way to start the stream, but that's okay. So I would have won that first match if I just played properly, or the first game, and then, you know, who knows if I would have won the match, but still would have been a better record. But we'll make 0 mistakes from here on out. Alright, we can Razor Trap Gorge, and then Mountain, Glaze Fiend, then Vault of Whispers, Glaze Fiend, then Refurb. Yeah, this one's pretty good. Oh, I turned this off before, but here is the... something's going on with the overlay. Ooh, Blood Fountain's pretty good with the Glaze Fiends. Play these. Pass. I don't know why it's doing this. Alright, looks like we're against Familiars, would be my guess, based on this Familiar that they just played. Oh, Red Mage's Rapier. So, I could play the Rapier or the Glaze Fiend. I think I want to play the Glaze Fiend. Vault, Refurb. I can hit for 6. They discard a card. Next turn, I have 4 pumps, which is 16 damage plus the Refurb. So I could have like a turn 4 win here if they just play like a Seagate Oracle or something. Which obviously, if they have any interaction, they'll probably try to hold it up since they already took a big hit. But maybe they don't. Murmuring Mystic. Oh, they can play that for cheaper? Sure. But that doesn't block this turn at all. So, grow the team some more, and Blood Fountain grows everything again by a whole bunch. And we'll crack in for 18 damage on turn 4. Unless they have like a Snapback would be like the only free spell I think that could interact here. Alright. That was a quick, pretty sweet win. We get our Pyroblasts and Red Blasts. I think this is a match where Spell Bombs we're hoping to go faster than that, so I don't think we bring in Spell Bombs. Toxins don't seem super necessary, and honestly, Mirror Enforcers just get blocked a lot easier by a lot of what they have going on, so maybe we cut a couple of those. Yeah, they're a little bit slower, and we're really trying to go fast here. Plus, they just get blocked by like every creature in their entire deck, whereas our flyers get blocked by a lot fewer. Yo, the score is currently 0-1. I can turn this back on, but it's being weird. It's like it's like flashing in and out, so I don't really know what's going on with that. Hey Ben, how's it going? How much rating do I have in MTGO? Not exactly sure. It's been a little while since I've checked. I guess we could check right here. Game history, is that where it's at? 1780 limited, 1768 constructed. This hand looks alright. Looks good. Yeah, I don't know what a standard is, so I don't know if that's high or low or medium or what. So do I. Nice. Alright, they got a landscape. We got a bridge. Turn 2, I can go... Oh, I just realized I have all 3 of my my main grower creatures. So we'll figure out which one I want. I have a lot of artifacts, so it feels like Glaze Fiend could be good. Some people say that 1950 has only pros. Yeah, I mean, I generally get at least a positive record, a 3-2 or more, and I'm at 1768 or whatever, so I do think it'd be very difficult to get to 1950 if you were not extremely skilled. All right, we have 2 more bridge lands too. So the Glaze Fiend is probably going to get 2 triggers every single turn for the next couple turns. So I think that's the one we start with. I guess actually Soul Eater, if they don't have a blocker, could just hit for a bunch. But I don't have the double strike. I think Glaze Fiend is good. Last Breath. Okay, that's annoying. We gain 4 life, but exile a creature with power 2 or less. I guess Soul Eater can't get Last Breath because I could just pay in response. So that might be the one to go with next. Red Mage's Rapier grows off of the Synth. Yeah, I think we just do Soul Eater, and we'll do a bridge here. They have a Familiar. I guess if they snap this, that'd be kind of annoying. No, they just go for a Lorien. Well, they could still play a snap. And they do. Nothing else, though. Soul Eater. I guess I'll play the Soul Eater again. See if they just want to, like, counter that. If they do, I get to Galvanic Blast. Okay, so I think I'll Galvanic Blast. Any counterspell they have, they can cast here because they don't play actual counterspells. So I'm going to Galvanic Blast this in their upkeep. I don't think there's anything that could... I guess Ephemerate they would also have already had access to, so that's better this way. Prohibit, yeah. They got 2 cards, but if those cards are like Moldraft or Ephemerate, they're going to be drawing a million. They snap the Sunscape Familiar. I feel like the only reason to do this would be, I guess, a Lorien, but okay. They just replay it? What are they doing? That did not net them any mana, and it just used up a snap. I'm really confused by that. I kind of thought they were going to like untap this and have like a Dust to Dust, and they could like double white, which would have been interesting, but they had nothing. So I'm gonna play a Soul Eater and a Rapier, I think. I'm gonna save the Synth for next turn when it'll trigger the Rapier. I'm also gonna keep hitting our land drops because... Alright. Lorien Revealed is good. They do draw a lot, but no extra land, so they're tapped out here. Let's play a Synth, trigger this. If we get like a Red Blast is a waste, that's annoying. So I can pump this, how many times? 12? No, 12 would kill us. 11 times, so that's 12 damage. 15, 16, 17, 18. So if I play this, they have to block, or we can deal lethal damage, I believe. Unless I did my math wrong. But if they don't do their math, they might just not block. They don't block, so let me do it again. We can pump this 11 times. So that's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, I'm pretty sure this will just win us the game then. Unless they just have like double gut shot or something weird. And we'll hit for 20 damage. All right, and that was in part due to the fact that they last breathed to give us life. Obviously, you know, if we had the Glaze Fiend earlier, it would have been very different, but that was pretty sick. All right, double Glaze Fiend. I could even get a Glaze Fiend down on turn 1 if that's worthwhile. We have all artifact lands. I think it's probably better to just save the Petal for when we can trigger them both. Familiar's deck is so gross. Yeah, they did some truly abhorrent things there. We're keeping this. I'm still just trying to figure out if I do turn 1 Glaze Fiend, then turn 2 this and Glaze Fiend, I hit for 4, and then I'm hitting consistently for 2 on the following turns. Whereas if here, oh, this isn't an artifact land. I don't know why I thought it was. Whereas if here I play the Gorge first, then I play this, Generally, I feel like the pedal would be the turn 1 would be the way to go, but I think with double Glaze Fiend, I kind of just want the trigger. Seal of Strength. Okay. I assume this means Infect. Now, with no removal in hand, we could just die to that to Infect, like, in a turn or two before we can definitely do lethal to them. There's a Glistener Elf. So Galvanic Blast would let us kill this unless they had a Mutagenic. Synth is decent. I think we gotta just... I think they missed a land drop. I think I might just have to chump with one Glaze Fiend, but let's swing with the other one. I could Lotus Petal, but I feel like I might as well just do it this way. Swing and pass. I'm not sure the deck list from that is accurate. However, I believe I tried to add Stream Decker, so I think you should just be able to see the list on the screen if you pop that out. But let me know if there's any issues with that. They have an Augur. They can't use that this turn, though. They swing. So this is +3. They used a mana on this before they attacked, which is kind of interesting. This could be 4 damage. If they have an Embiggen, it could be 8. And so just a Mutagenic would kill us. If I take it, though, I can do 1. Yeah, looks like it is. Still, the command is out of date. Yeah, I did not update the command, unfortunately, which I should have done. But I was trying to get the Stream Decker working and see if that was functional. Okay, so if I take this and I don't die, I can go 1, 2, 3 artifacts, which is 12 damage. If I find one more artifact, I have lethal. If I chump here, I just don't think I'm going to win. So I'm going to take it, and we will die to not dying now. I like Stream Decker better anyway. Yeah, I've been slowly trying to make the stream better with things like that, so hopefully that'll be a nice improvement. Toxin Analysis is one more artifact, so I believe this should be lethal. Let's Synth. Pump up the team. Soul Eater. So Vault will pump them up as well. Cast a Lotus Petal. Soul Eater should be lethal. And then I also have a Toxin Analysis if I wanted. 16 damage on turn 4. Pretty nice. 20 if I wanted it to be. I just don't... There's no reason to show the Toxin Analysis. Alright, against Infect we get End the Festivities and Krark Clan Shaman. And that's it. But Enforcers are slow. And Toxins are probably not necessary. I mean, I guess blocking with like whatever... and they pump it up to keep it alive, and then we Death Touch is kind of cool, but I don't think we need it. I think these 6 will be pretty decent. And I guess Toxin with Krark is decent, but I just don't think that's necessary either. Their guys are all 1/1s, so if we Krark and they try to pump it, then I can just Krark again in response. Very cool list. Did it pop up in a challenge recently or something? And this is a list by Love Crayons, who's another Pauper content creator, and you should make sure to check them out if you haven't. They were one of the people who tried Black Sack back in like February, got 9th with it in like an 150 person tournament, and I saw that and started working on the Black Sack list. They make a lot of really sweet decks, and so they've been working on this one for the last couple weeks, and I thought it looked pretty sweet, so we decided to take it for a spin. All right, no interaction. We do have a Glaze Fiend that we could do on turn 1. We now have 12 removal spells in our deck, so I haven't seen any, but we have good chance to draw one. Nice, I'll have to check them out. It's Love Crayons on YouTube. So yeah, I could turn 1 to Glaze Fiend, turn 2, grow it a little bit. That's not great. I think on the draw, knowing we're against Infect, I should just get something with a little bit more interaction. This one's decent for that reason. Put back a Vault, and we'll pass to them. Llanowar Augur. All right, we'll play a Gorge. I wanted to keep the double red. I'm realizing now that the double Gorge is pretty awkward with our refurbs. Excuse me. So that's annoying. Oh, they have to Rancor this, which is a good sign that they're missing their land drop. They might not have any Infect creatures. I'm totally okay with that because the chances this kills us are very low. And we do get another artifact land. So I think we'll just play Vault. Or I should have played the Great Furnace because I could have double Bolt up. But I don't think I'm ever going to have to kill this, and now the Rancor is just kind of stuck here. Oh, well, Spider Umbra. I guess I'm going to eat my words, because this would be a 3/4 with Umbra armor. I guess I'll bolt it. I mean, they can pump it in response. All right. I'm big in. I mean, next turn I can double refurb, so they're going to be low on cards. This is only hitting us for 6. Also, it lets our Razor Trap Gorge play untapped, but, you know, they're doing a decent job of actually using the Augur well. Glaze Fiend. I think I'd rather Glaze Fiend first and play the Gorge and pass. Galvanic's only dealing 2. I could have played the Great Furnace to make it deal 4, but I just would rather save the artifacts for next turn with the Glaze Fiend. I'm still just going to take this. I guess if they have enough pump, we could die. Ram through. Okay, that's pretty annoying. It's trample, so we'll take a couple, and then we'll take 3. Soul Eater. So let's refurb again, and then hold up the Galvanic this time. They have an Ichor Claw Mirror, but they just went all in on this. To be fair, 7 damage is lower than I've ever seen a Llanowar Augur get somebody down to, so we could have some trouble here. I guess we got a double block. Then they play a pump spell, and I can like Galvanic Blast it in response. They have Umbra Armor though, so it's not great. They have the ram through, so I'm gonna Galvanic Blast. It goes down to a 2/3. It's still gonna kill both of these though. Alright, because it rams through this, I take 1 extra, then they trample over this. Team or Battle Rage. Well, I have a Soul Eater, which can theoretically block and trade. Cool that the deck is like a mix of Affinity, Burn, and Prowess / Blitz. Yeah, I think it's pretty sweet. The idea was to take a Kiln Fiend Blitz style deck and give it a little bit more longevity, which I think that the Red Mage's Rapier and the Glaze Fiend help with a lot. So I think it's pretty cool. I guess we block and I try to just pump it twice to survive. But then once we're tapped out, if they have a pump spell, we'll just die. Mutagenic Growth, sure. Synthesizer. Finds a Cart Clan Shaman. I mean, that can technically deal with this if I sack everything. If they have a pump spell, it's still pretty bad, but I think we just gotta go for it, and maybe I get something off the synth too. We get a land. They float a green, but just to fake us out, it looks like. We play a bridge. Okay. Well, we did not die, and now any of their infectors actually gains us life, essentially, because they have to deal us 10 instead of 2. So if they find another augur, they're in a good spot. Bolt is decent. This is going to be a slog if we're able to come back, but we have a chance here, since they have to draw pretty well. We're just going to keep playing a bunch of lands. It makes our synths and things like that better. Their infectors gain us life. First time hearing this, and it makes sense. Yeah. Just because they were attacking our normal life, and now if they play an infector... it's still something we might have to kill, but like, yeah, it actually, their ideal would be to find another augur to rancor it, because they can deal damage better. Although we have some removal for their infectors, removal for either one. I really want to fit Black Mage's Rod into this list, but I'm not sure what you'd cut. I think if you were to do that, you probably would cut like the enforcers, because I don't think you would need that many threats. Ooh, there we go. Which is not a bad idea. You have a lot of ways to burn your opponent, but it doesn't necessarily synergize as well with the Team or Battle Rage, for example, doesn't do as well because it doesn't have Ferocious. But I mean, neither does Refurb, and Refurb's just good value. So yeah, I don't think that's a terrible idea. Okay, we could play 3 of these. This would get +6, so that would be 7. Double Strike puts it at 14, plus we deal them 8. So it's not quite lethal, or we deal them 4, so we would put them to like 2. Since it's not quite lethal, I think I'm just going to Battle Rage once to deal him 6, and then next turn I can cast the rest. Can I send a deck core for you to look at? The Spirits video and the new card Abandoned Attachments from TLA got me thinking. Also finally catching a live stream. Yeah, you're free to send a list and I'll definitely take a look. Blood Fountain, we can cast everything here. So I believe that's going to be it unless they play like Gut Shot or something. Because if I bolt and this, it's going to be 14. So go for the bolt and the Battle Rage. Vines of Vastwood can make it so I can't be targeted. Sure, okay. Fair enough. All right, well, we'll hit him down to 4, and next turn we still have 1, plus this would make it a 3-power creature, so it's still pretty decent. Right, I was originally thinking Rod would be better than the Rapier before realizing how much the deck wants to TB. Yes, yeah, the Rapier is definitely necessary, but I could see the Rod being pretty decent. I'll cast this, grow the thing, and now I'll end the festivities, and this should be lethal. Oh, that was a really close one. We managed to get there, though. Our opponent said it would have been epic winning by life, and I said I thought they were going to be the first one to ever do that, and I was going to have to stop saying that I've never seen that happen before. But unfortunately, I'm going to keep being able to say that. Is this Rakdos list running Glaze Fiend? Yes, we are. So I'll take a look at your list, and we'll pop over to what we're running. But yes, this is Glaze Fiend, Red Mage's Rapier, Soul Eater. And you said Abandoned Attachments triggers Snacker. So I have to... What is Abandoned Attachments? Oh, right. It's the new Tormenting Voice type card. It's instant speed. It's a lesson, which could be relevant if we get any good learn cards, which I don't think we've really seen any good ones so far, but it's possible. Discard a card, and then if you do, draw 2 cards. Abandoned Attachments triggers Snacker and the Eidolons, and I want... Breathless Night to work so bad in the shell with Snackers and Spirits Matter cards. Yeah. Well, whenever it or another creature enters the battlefield under your control. If that creature enters from a graveyard or was cast from a graveyard, it gets a counter. So I will say that it works with Snacker, and it works with Unearth, the Breathless Knight, but the Breathless Knight doesn't actually trigger off of the Eidolons coming back to your hand. So that's not necessarily like synergy. But yeah, this could be cool for sure. And Abandoned Attachments, I guess, is kind of our first Tormenting Voice that could be in mono blue. That's also pretty interesting. Yeah, I think there might be something to that for sure. Let's jump into our next match. I want to make a Breathless Knight so badly. Hadn't thought about how it interacts with Snacker. Yeah, I think that could be a sweet way to do it. Wasn't sure what mana base to go with. Probably Gates. Gates with Breathless Knight are pretty decent. And with Snacker's not bad. Yeah, that could be alright. Alright, we're against All Eyes on Me, who plays Flickertron almost exclusively, which to be honest could be good for us because we could go fast enough to go under them, but they could also just fog us, which would be bad too. This hand with one land is not going to work. This is a turn 3 win with Immolating Soul Eater, Battle Rage. We're certainly keeping this. We're getting rid of 1 Battle Rage, I think. We're just going to play a Mountain and pass. Ben Fraley loves Gates. Flickertron is my main deck in paper. Alright. Oh, well, they're not even on that. Looks like they're on Grixis or Jund, which makes this a lot less likely to work, but I still have to try for it. Because if they tap out for like a Wildfire or a Wellspring, we could just get a win. A Traitor. Indeed. Yeah, they blast it. That makes sense. So Grixis. Unfortunate. We can still hit pretty hard next turn if we go Synth, Lotus Petal, Temur Battle Rage. That's 14 damage, at least. I mean, I have to say, I'd prefer to play against... Well, in general, I'd prefer to play against Grixis than Flickertron, but it's a little worse here, because we're clearly not made for this. I could blast this, they just sack anyway, that's not very good. Let's go for a Synth, and Vault of Whispers. Well, I'll try to force them to use this. Oh, they won't even use it, they'll just block, I guess. I can go for the Battle Rage. Oh, they don't. So they're just going to take 5. If I go for Battle Rage, they're going to sack a Blood Token. I guess I'd probably just deal them the 5, and then I Galvanic Blast the Krark, so that they have to use it anyway. But this way I still got in for some damage. Excuse me. And I kind of want to do it now. I guess I can wait until their turn, but if they cast like a Wellspring, I'll do it in response. I guess now if they just leave up Reckoner's Bargain, then it's worse. Thoughtcast. If they just play another Krark, it's kind of bad. I guess we do it at the end step. There's another Fountain, so that could mean Enforcers, but no. Well, there's one. Okay. So if I Galvanic this, they definitely sacrifice a Blood Token. At least that opens me up to not getting our Samurai hit by the Krark, at least not right away. So we will crack this, and we're just getting flooded. Yeah, this one's looking rough. We had a decent opener, but not if they had interaction. Black Mage's Rod, swing with the Enforcer, Toxin Analysis, equip with the Rapier, swing, they block, and I'm just gonna Temur Battle Rage. Triggers, so it'll be 4. Have the Galvanic, of course. I think we're just gonna go to the next one, because they also have Blood Fountains to recur this Krark Clan Shaman. There's no way we're really getting out of that. And that's what we're missing in the sideboard is artifact removal. Well, that feels kind of tough to deal with then. I guess we don't really need Toxin. Toxin can instant speed grow a Fiend, which could keep it alive against a Galvanic Blast, I guess. That's about it. And the Festivities gets rid of a Krark if they put it down like preemptively. Maybe that's a little better. Or maybe Pyroblasts because they're going to be bringing in Blue Blast. Yeah, I guess that seems a little better. All right, on the play. Double Enforcer, only 2 lands that have that are artifacts. This does not seem very good. This one's okay. I mean, our goal is still to go fast and just hope they don't have the Galvanic Blast this time. I think we're putting back the Pyroblast. They mulligan to 4. They are really looking for that removal, which is fair. They know that they could lose very quickly, very easily if they don't have it. Another Soul Eater. I guess we just play one of those. We don't even have a win with it yet, but it's scary enough they might just have to Galvanic it down. Or Krark, sure. So I bolt this, and they sack a bridge, probably. It's a decent 2 for 2. And then I play a Refurb. I think that's good. I think if they mulligan low enough to get a Krark, there's no way that they don't just send it off here. Yeah. And then I get to Refurb. Next turn I can Soul Eater, discard a Hydroblast. And they don't have another land, since they were forced to use one. That's pretty good. They could still have a Galvanic, but even without doing anything like cheating E with the Soul Eater, okay, I can just Like, if we get a Battle Rage here, we can just win. We're going to blast this guy. But even if we don't, we can just attack. Pump 5. I think we'll pump a couple more times just while they're tapped out. I don't want to go crazy, but put him to 11. Next turn, I guess I could have done 6 more. They could have been at 5. Then they die to a Galvanic plus Refurb. But they have to play a Wellspring here. We should be able to just finish him off. So if I just deal him 7, I could have just killed him with the Soul Eater, but we'll do it this way. All right. So we got that game because we were on the play, and just in general, maybe they felt forced to mulligan down to some interaction, which I think is fair, but then the fact that they had to use the Kark was pretty brutal. Yeah, I think we probably just send it back. All right, 1 land, not going to cut it, unfortunately. 1 land with a Lotus Petal, classic tap land, that's not going to work either. They kept 7 this time, that's not fair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... I think I gotta just keep the highest value cards, which are these 2. I could keep like 1 Enforcer and the Blood Fountain to cast it, but that doesn't seem very good. Start with a Bridge, and another Refurb's not bad. They discard a Thought Cast, play a Wellspring. Bridge, they don't attack. Since they can't block, I felt like they might have wanted to, but I guess they think this is more valuable than my creature, which is fair. I'll play a Refurb, and then I'll play a Soul Eater. Discard a Mere Enforcer. Okay. Their hand is stacked, it appears. Offering the Wellspring, and they just Galvanic Blast the Soul Eater right now. Fair enough. Still don't swing for 2. Blood Fountain, let's play a Synth first. Galvanic Blast, I kind of just want to go at face with that, because we put him to 10 here, and then Blood Fountain. And I have this Blood Token, but I'm going to play the Razor Trap Gorge because we have both Synth and Blood Fountain to use our mana, so I think we definitely want it. Plus, if they just make it discarded with the Refurb, I mean, then they wouldn't be drawing a card, but I think this is fine. They Thought Cast, and they map onto the hero, Enforcer on top. They don't want that. Swing for 3. Lotus Petal's real useless. I guess it lets me, like, if we attack and they block, it lets me buy back our 2 creatures and cast the Refurb again. I guess that's probably worth it. It's obviously just worse than a land, but this keeps up the fact that we have like a 2-turn clock. Takes a card from their hand. I mean, they have a lot of cards in hand, so it's pretty rough. They don't block because of the Blood Fountain. Okay. In that case, I'm just going to crack this. Hope for like another Refurb. Oh, that's exactly what we wanted. Because now we have Lethal in the Air. We take a card from them. And, I mean, Lethal in the Air, they have a blocker. But if we can find a removal spell for it, or just a burn spell in general, which I guess are pretty much the same thing, then we can hit them. As long as they can't gain life or kill our creatures or anything. They have another Black Mage's Rod. Swing with the hero token. Okay, they decide against it. Because, yeah, I could block with the Samurai. I'm probably okay with that trade. Okay, they do end up doing it. I am getting a little low. And this guy's not getting through anytime soon anyway, so I think I'm happy with this. They could just re-equip the Black Mages, I guess, but that's fine. Toxin Analysis, sure, to gain a little bit of life. Okay, that makes it harder to kill them here. Bridge is not very good, so I can swing with the team. We hit for 4, and they trade, and then I can rebuy the Refurb and the Soul Eater, replay the Refurb. They have 6 damage back on us, so we just die to a Galvanic Blast. We would have 1 blocker, but that's it. I mean, our alternative is just discard with the Blood Token and hope for the best. I don't love that. Although if they just take the 3 damage here, they can't take the 3 because then they die to a Bolt. Or the 6. If they did take it, then I don't really have anything else to do, but they just die to 1 Lightning Bolt, so I feel like there's no way they do that. So we're going to swing. They do block. I have another Toxin Analysis. That is annoying. We're going to buy these back. I have to Lotus Petal to play our Refurb, but I do take their last card, which is a Wellspring. I mean, they have clues to draw. I think I just play this Bridge. And, I mean, we don't even have Lethal on them. If they find any Galvanic Blast, they have Lethal on us. Well, if I don't chump, that is, which I probably will, but we'll see. Crack a clue, play a Bridge. Their guys can't block, so they might as well swing. So if we take it, we die to a Galvanic Blast. If I block here, I survive at 1 from the Galvanic Blast. If I, to be honest though, everything that I'm going to top deck is a Galvanic Blast or a Bolt that's going to deal them 3 anyway. So unless they have another Toxin Analysis, I think I just block here. Yeah, I think, unless I'm forgetting something, I think everything I draw is 3 damage at least anyway. Lotus Petal does not do it. So let's look for a Bolt. Soul Eater. Well, that's 2 blockers, so I guess we'll swing, and I can just replay both of these. However, I guess if they have a Krark, they can wipe these away, although that wipes away the hero, so if they can ping us twice and then Krark, they could get us with the Enforcer. Hasty Soul Eaters would be fun. Yeah, I agree. They're cracking a clue. I feel like there aren't that many spells that give haste that are very good. There's like a flashback one. There's like the whatever the new flashback is from Tarkir, Harmonize. There's a couple ones like that, but yeah, there's not always a ton. There's a relic. We're down to 5, so we're dead to a Galvanic now. I'm interested in Daily, Indoctrination, and Affinity Shells, Rakdos, or Grixis. They find the Galvanic Blast. Unfortunate, so that's gonna be lethal. We were really close. Refurb is fine, but yeah. Soulbond creature, I think it's uncommon still. Yeah, the Soulbond that gives haste is uncommon. Even just going into blue-black control, Affinity Shell with Abjure. I did just add this functionality to do card. So there we go. Daily Indoctrination is choose one target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an online permanent from that. Player discards it, or Earthbend 2. Okay. So you said Affinity Shells, Rakdos, or Grixis. Oh, because Earthbend, you bend onto a bridge. I gotcha. Yeah, okay. That's not bad. The fact that it's 2 mana and it's not even a full, like, pilfer is unfortunate. It is a lesson. Again, there are a whole bunch of lessons that are, like, pretty interesting, not bad, as long as they, this isn't gonna work, as long as there's some good ways to learn. But is it correct to say every Affinity deck is always at least either blue or red for Relic or Synthesizer? Well, no, I wouldn't say that's correct to say, because if you're saying every Affinity deck, Grixis Affinity has been blue, red, black. It is blue and red, but it's never been for Synth or Relic. Now it started playing Relic a little bit, but usually most of the lists I've seen are still playing like 4 Wellsprings and only like 1 or 2 Relics. And there's also some Rakdos, kind of like this, but different Rakdos Affinity lists that are very aggro that don't always run Synthesizer. Sometimes they do, but not always. But no, I wouldn't say that as a blanket statement. If you want to say like Glinthawk decks, then that's also not 100% true, because, you know, white-black is a thing. But in general, at this point, I think Glinthawk decks are best with either red or blue for Relic or Synthesizer. But Affinity decks can do just fine without them. Or it gets more Familiars, I see. So we can, I mean, we just shoot this with a bolt, play this, and swing. I'm going to just do this now, see what we draw. For that reason, because if we draw Team or Battle Rage, unfortunately I can't use it this turn. Even if I had played the Blood Fountain first, I wouldn't have been able to use it this turn. But I'm not going to expend my life, because now if they just tap out for like another whatever random creature, well, that lets them have Snap Up. So I really can't go for the Battle Rage unless I get like a red here and I can Galvanic Blast the Familiar. Yeah, there's no way I can do that. So I'm just going to Galvanic Blast this and see if they want to do anything about it. Prohibit. Yeah, if we just had a red mana. I did bottom a mountain instead of a Vault of Whispers at the beginning because I wanted the artifact land, and that's coming back to bite me. It's possible we can still get there if they tap out for like something, but the blue-black shell with Abjure and Refurbished and Hard Evidence has been picking up recently in my paper meta. I feel like this card is better for them than Kenku to play more controlling. I think that might be right. I think Kenku's one of those cards that I kind of think its time has come and gone. It's very expensive for what you want to do. It's not just 3 mana, because generally you want to have the bridge untapped as well, so it's kind of 4 mana. And then if that land gets blown up or something, it's not great. Okay, if they don't block at all, I can still just kill them with the Battle Rage, so that's our goal. But if they do block, we cannot do that. I'm still probably gonna Battle Rage. Okay, well, they don't, and so we're gonna kill them. I think they should certainly have blocked one of these times. This right here is enough. 18 damage. All right, got to a slow-ish start, but able to get there because they didn't block properly. We get Pyroblasts and stuff. I see. I was just wondering if there's any reason for green-white Affinity Glinthawk. I'm very pro people trying to brew things, and especially trying like things like that are kind of meta established, but doing it in a different color pair. But there's got to be a reason for it. So green-white sounds cool, but what green artifacts are you getting that are getting you benefits for bouncing them with the Glinthawk? Green in general for Metalcraft or Affinity, you get like the Carapace Forger? I can't remember. The 2 mana 4/4, which is, I mean, worse than a Mirror Enforcer, but it's not a bad reason to be in green. But you need some more cards that are really gonna make it work. And so until we get like a Synth or a Tithing Blade or something like that in green that you get a lot of value from, it might be tough to make happen. Carapace Forger, yeah, really old Affinity. Played that. That was a long time ago though. Green hasn't gotten any artifact support in a while. Yeah. Carrot Cake, Carrot Cake is okay. It could be a decent card to play in white. It doesn't give you a reason to go green. But the problem is it only triggers when you sacrifice. It's enter or sacrifice. So you'll get an extra 1/1 and a scry from like a Glinthawk, but it's not as much value as like a Lembas. So there is Heaped Harvest, but Affinity is not probably the best deck to use that. Yeah, not only do you have to play basics, and so that's kind of counter with your Affinity artifact lands, but also Heaped Harvest is 3 mana. 3 mana for a Rampant Growth. Heaped Harvest is cool in the right food decks, but if you're playing it for 3 mana as a Rampant Growth, picking it back up with the Glinthawk to Rampant Growth again, that doesn't seem very good to me. I think we're just doing the same thing we did last time. If you want to count White Black Blade, then that's a non-blue, non-red affinity list. Yeah, I would say generally, I mean, it has affinity cards in it, because Refurbished Familiar is in there. Generally, I think of an affinity deck as one that plays more than just Refurbished Familiar, because you can kind of get away with only playing a few artifact lands and stuff with the refurb. Whereas if you're playing Thoughtcast or Mirror Enforcer, you really need like a density of artifact lands. But that's just semantics. That's depending on how people want to define it. Yo, Nick, how's it going? Hello, Daniel. What is up? All right, they preordained. No white mana from them yet. Weirdly, I think that Gene Pollinator is kind of neat. Gene Pollinator, I think there's, since it came out, I think there's been something to it that's kind of interesting. You know, Springleaf Drum is a card that's seen plenty of play in various decks, and it's kind of a Springleaf Drum on a stick. I mean, also it's, you know, a Jasper or Sentinel or whatever. Very similar to that, but it is an artifact. So yeah, I think there's something to that. But you're not getting value from bouncing it with a Glinthawk, but except for, I guess, untapping it. But yeah, there's something interesting there. Okay, well, we get to trigger our Glaze Fiend. I can play 2 refurbs and I can bolt. I don't actually care to bolt this, though. So I could just play 1 refurb and a Soul Eater. The next turn I can do refurb, bolt. It's a little less damage because this guy gets blocked, but it's more mana efficient. I guess holding up bolts to interrupt a Muldrifter is probably pretty good, especially since we already have a lot of damage in the air. Yeah, let's just do this. Let's just do double refurb. We also get to attack their hand a lot here, which is pretty cool. Perhaps there's something like Abzan Affinity Food, where you get to do something with Cauldron's Familiar and also Prismatic Strands. But then why not just be 4-color Turbo Fog? Well, the reason to not be 4-color Turbo Fog is because who wants to do that? But I honestly, something affinity, food, that is not a terrible idea. Abzan already has a reason to be, like, food already has a reason to be in Abzan colors. Food is all artifacts, so that kind of pushes you maybe into, like, having a Mirror Enforcers and stuff payoffs. It's still kind of weird with Heaped Harvest, wanting basics, and then, like, artifact lands, but that's kind of cool. Ooh, Pyroblast, so I can just... They cycled this. They've got 2 mana up for a counter spell, but it can't be a prohibit. It could be like an annul. I think I just play another refurb and hold up both of our interaction. We're only going to grow this once, but I can hit for 6. They're on a pretty fast clock here. We get to hold up Pyroblast and Lightning Bolt. I'm kind of liking this. Waiting for a creature with Learn for Pauper, 1 or 2 mana like Overgrown Archway or Eye Twitch. Yeah. I don't know if all of the Avatar cards have been revealed yet. I know I've seen more and more recently. And I've seen some pretty decent lessons, but yeah, I haven't seen any Learn cards that are phenomenal yet. They have a Murmuring Mystic. We're going to Pyroblast that. If they have the Blue Blast, then at least they're not making any birds this turn. And then we have Lethal in the air anyway. So that's totally fine. Yeah, all right. I think in a Glinthawk list, could abuse Castlem's Stone Tree. Right. Yeah, it becomes a 5/5 on the back end. Yeah, I think that's one that I've seen that seems kind of interesting. All right, so we got a 3-2 with this deck, and that was after throwing match 1 really hard, so not bad at all. Also did not take very long at all, which is sweet. We're definitely gonna just take it for another league. There's nothing specific I want to change yet. I really like the Toxin. It gave us a good game against Red Madness. I like the Enforcers pretty well. They've been a little awkward in some spots, but they've been not bad. Oh, I guess I want I think I want Cast into the Fire. To the fire for the sideboard. For Fae too. Yeah. Yep, good call. Yeah, because we had all of these. I don't think this is super necessary. Sideboard. I think with the Krarks, like Krark's a little awkward because we have Enforcer and we have Rapier and Soul Eater. But like against Elves, Krark is just really good or anything like that. Plus we have the Toxin, so I think we can probably just cut the End the Festivities. And honestly, I think most graveyard decks I just want to go faster than them. So I think, obviously not like Spy, but I think 3 of these and Forecast is probably where I want to be. There's no learn in Avatar, only lessons. Is that true? That seems crazy. What's the point of the lesson subtype there then? Obviously it works with the other ones, but like I have no idea what caves are in this format. The Discoverland. Signposting for Strixhaven 2. Oh, sure. That still just seems really awkward to have a subtype that's completely irrelevant in its own format. There are other lesson payoffs for limited. Oh yeah, I guess I did see a couple. That's fair. That still seems kind of awkward, but I understand. Well, I guess I don't feel like there's any ways to learn currently in Pauper that are very good. I know obviously the first day of class is fine for the combo, but otherwise I don't think it's great. So it probably won't make that big of an impact on Pauper then until maybe Strixhaven when we get some ways to learn better. No learn cards in TLA. Yeah, that is interesting. All right. Let's go into another league here. Blue Tormenting Voice just seems really good for Snacker. Yeah, I agree. I will say a lot of the lessons, and this is how they usually do it, but the lessons in Strixhaven the first time around, a lot of them were overcosted, not great. Now, you were learning for them, so they were basically additional cards, so it wasn't a big deal. But most of the lessons that I've seen from Avatar are pretty reasonably costed. It's like the cost of a normal spell, like a Tormenting Voice. Maybe it doesn't have the extra over the top, 2 damage from Grab the Prize, but it's still a pretty reasonable spell. And so once we get some pretty decent ways to learn, that's going to make them very, very strong. Like, I would not be surprised if Strixhaven gave us some nice ways to learn, and then it became like a real meta deck to have like a learn board or something. On the topic of green affinity, Fenrir Marauder is in this format. Yes, he absolutely is. Big mainstay in some Tron lists. Yeah, if you had some way to sacrifice artifacts, or if you're just doing a food thing, Fenrir could be good. Fenrir is just really expensive if you're not playing Tron. So it's kind of tough.